doing a live just cause fuck it. Why not? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? I'm just on here so I don't get fined. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not in a good mood. Like, I'm on here because I dealt with so much censorship on TikTok and it drives me fucking crazy all the dark patterns that they implement on a constant basis on some straight up 1984 type of shit to the point where it is clear why it's so difficult for us as a society, as a community, to overcome the various problems that we have, to solve the issues that we have of our country, of our planet, because the powers that be do not want us to. It is difficult for me to respect social media, to respect the success that people enjoy on social media, just because of what I've experienced on social media, particularly on TikTok. So check this out. Long story short, I got on TikTok because, well, it was the new hot thing. Um, I'm an artist, right? I'm a rapper, a producer, all that type of shit. And so, all the music related platforms that I was on, the CD babies and all that, I get their emails, I get their uh uh content and whatever. They give advice, they give you, okay, how do you release a project, or how do you promote and all this type of shit. And one of the things that they would always say is that if you're an artist, you have to get on TikTok because all the shit that's happening on TikTok and it's the most popping app and blah blah blah. So of course I do that. But then I'm like, okay, well, what exactly should I do on TikTok? Like, what? Because I'm not trying to be on no dancing shit. I'm not one of these motherfuckers that just wants to go. That's not me. Okay, even though I'm an artist and I can get the party started, I'm not in the partying mood. Okay, so I'm not on here to just dance and all this type of shit. So what should I do? So I ended up having a conversation with one of my friends from college. Okay, he's a pretty intelligent dude. The only problem is that he is a theist, and so at times he's prone to say something retarded as fuck, which is precisely what ended up happening. We was having the conversation, and then I went to go make like an aside, right? Like, I'm like, how like, 2 + 2 = 4, right? So basically, and I was gonna make a point about I don't even remember what we were talking about. All I remember is that he ended up cutting me off and being like, wait, hold, what are you talking about this 2 + 2 = 4 shit? Are you sure about that? Because there's different cultures that got different ideas. And I couldn't believe what was happening because we ended up arguing about this over an hour. About 2 + fucking 2. This is a guy, I ain't gonna say his name, but this is a guy who was a typically very intelligent dude. Okay. He was literally at the time in a master's program, getting his master's. He probably got it by now in linguistics. Yet here we are having an argument for over an hour about whether or not 2 + 2 = fucking 4. And he even went on to say more ridiculously retarded ass things like, oh, yeah, you don't need to understand basic construction in order to build a bridge. I'm like, okay, you got to get the fuck off my shit. And then that's when it hit me. That's what I'm going to do on TikTok. I'm going to tell the fucking truth, and I'm not going to give a fuck what anybody has to say about it. So, I'm an atheist and an anti-theist, and I feel that theism is the greatest, longest running scam in human history, and it's also the greatest rape culture in history. I mean, this isn't just speculation. This isn't just my feeling or my opinion. It's just a fact. It's a fact. And I know this because all you got to do is just look up Christian sexual assault, and nearly every day you will find a new story. Not to mention all the old stories from back in the day. We're finding new stories. We're finding new old stories. We're finding old new stories. It's just all kinds of stories. Almost every day of new Christian leaders, Christian members, religious leaders, religious members of various kinds getting caught for the same thing: sexual assault, particularly child sexual assault. Okay. And this shit goes up to the highest level, even to presidents and wealthy people and all types of politicians and, you know, celebrities, athletes, all types of shit. All types of people get caught for this shit, particularly members of the faith community. This is not to say that only the faith community engages in this behavior and that there are no non-believers or people of other faiths or whatever that don't do this shit. No. I will be the first to say, as an atheist, and particularly as an anti-theist, there are atheists and anti-theists who are fucking weirdos. I have no problem saying that. I have no problem calling them out, especially if they commit heinous acts. And we're not talking about just that. Whatever crime. Like we talked about last year, that crazy ass, retarded ass, tranny motherfucker, right? That attacked the school in Wisconsin, the Christian school. Now, mind you, I'm an anti-theist, but that does not mean that I support violence, especially violence against children. I don't give a fuck what these children then thought, said, whatever. Children are off limits. I don't care who you are, right? I'm pro-LGBT. Obviously, I'm an atheist and anti-theist. And yet the perpetrator who committed that act was a transgender atheist, and I have no problem saying that that motherfucker's a piece of shit. Okay? I have no problem saying that. Okay? I am not bigoted against transgender people, but I have a problem with anyone. I don't care what the fuck you identify as. I have a problem with anyone that feels the need to attack children. Period. For any reason. I don't give a fuck if the Lord told you to do it. I don't care if you did it to prove a point, to prove that the Lord doesn't exist, to prove that, oh, nobody can stop you, or if you just got some psychological, because basically you got a psychological disorder. Something is fucking wrong with you if you feel the need to attack children. Period. For any fucking reason. And the reason why I single out Christianity in particular is because they are the biggest institution in the fucking world. They have literally the most people. They have literally the most resources. They have members of all kinds in every single possible sector of the population, particularly in government, in the White House, in the Congress, in the Supreme Court, in all these different important positions all across the country and all across the world. You can't even think that you're going to run for any high public office and not be a Christian. I don't give a fuck what happened. I have zero chance trying to run for any office. Period. Because of what I believe. Because all these people, we're talking about literally 2/3 of America. We're talking about some 200 plus million people subscribe to the greatest, longest running scam in human history of Christianity. And then we wonder why we experience all these problems. So that's what I talk about on a constant basis. That's why I would talk about on TikTok on a constant basis. But the problem is that I would get significant censorship. I would get censored so fucking much. The very first live I ever did on TikTok got shut down. I didn't even realize that that's what happened. I'm thinking that, oh, the connection probably went out or something. No, I got shut down and I didn't even realize it. And I got shut down just telling my story, talking about my origins, how I became an atheist and an anti-theist, what exactly caused me to become that. And in the process of that, they shut me the fuck down. And ever since, this is like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So, yeah, about 4 years ago. And ever since then, I've dealt with all kinds of crazy ass censorship. And it's been unreal. Like, it's literally been 1984 for real. I'm talking about, I'm getting shut down for everything. That's one of the reasons why on here, I'll say words that people don't like, that people find highly offensive or even possibly hateful. Because in my opinion, I find it strange that you would rather get mad over a fucking word instead of the actions of weirdos who commit heinous acts. Wait, so you willing to sit here and tell me I'm this terrible person because I said a R word or T word or B word or G word, and all these weirdos out here are committing actual acts of rape, mayhem, murder, torture, all kinds of heinous acts, heinous crimes, but you got more smoke for me for calling them out than for them who are doing the shit. And then we actually want to sit here and wonder why these things are constantly happening. Why do these things happen? Oh no, why are they not protecting children? But then look at these same people. helping the weirdos cover up the horrible crimes that they commit. And we see so many stories of this all across the world, all across the country, all over the place. All kinds of Christians who get caught raping kids, and then they find out motherfuckers is helping them cover the shit up for years, for decades. And the shit doesn't stop. So that's why I talk about it. I'm not here to give a single fuck about your precious feelings. If you don't like what I have to say, like I always say, move around. Go somewhere the hell else. Get on somebody else's live. Demonstrate to me you aren't a real person. Because see, here's the thing. In order for us to solve major world problems, to solve national issues in our communities, in our societies, in our own homes, we got to get real. And getting real means getting highly, highly, highly uncomfortable. That means you have to confront your views, your worldviews, your thoughts, your preconceived notions. You have to face reality as it is. And you have to work with our real reality as it is, not for what you hope it to be, what you think it to be, what you were indoctrinated to believe in. That's one of the main reasons why on TikTok, I would challenge theists every day, literally to say, hey, whatever you believe in, even though I specified Christianity because we're here in America, 2/3 of the population are Christians. I got smoke for all theism. I don't give a fuck what brand of delusion you subscribe to. I'm challenging you, if you subscribe to any of these brands of delusion, show me it's not a delusion. Show me it's actually real. Show me that it actually comports with our reality. And if you can't, then shut your stupid ass the fuck up. I don't give a fuck if I hurt your feelings. I don't give a fuck if you don't like what I have to say. If you're gonna sit here and tell me that what you believe is actually seriously super duper real, show me right now, this second, today. And if you can't, it's cool. Just be honest. Be honest and admit that you can't demonstrate it. It's okay. People believe all kinds of things that they can't demonstrate. People subscribe to all kinds of ideas that are unjustified. But as long as you can admit to these things, we can coexist. But that right there is the biggest problem in our society. Too many people are too unwilling. They're too fucking stubborn to be honest and admit, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. I love Jesus, I believe Jesus, but I really don't know where the fuck he's at right now. Why doesn't Jesus stop these weirdos in his supposed building, in his supposed home, in his house, in his supposed church, to stop predators from preying on children and vulnerable individuals, men, women, transgender people, people of various demographics? Why doesn't the Lord Jesus Christ, the Father, the Son, and or the Holy Spirit put a stop to this madness? You know, because he cares so much about morality and all this type of shit. Why does he stop the immorality happening in his own building? You feel what I'm saying? I saw a video like a week ago. One of my people on TikTok shared it in a group chat about this pastor, this Christian pastor, admitting to the congregation that he had performed a questionable act. Let's just say that. The pastor literally got confronted by one of his victims in front of the congregation. And she got on the mic and was like, oh yeah, by the way, why don't you tell him that I was 16 when you did the shit? Tell him that I was a minor and blah, blah, blah. The congregation formed a prayer circle around the pastor, and they all prayed for him, expressing their forgiveness for him. Think about that. The woman who was an actual victim didn't say she forgave him, but these fucking retards in the church gonna sit here and be like, nah, we forgive you, the Lord forgives you, all this fucking crazy shit. Now extrapolate that to 200 million people in the fucking country. And then you understand why child sex crimes get protected in our society. You see why so motherfucking much of these cases occur constantly. This is the hypocrisy of our current system, right? And that's why I find it so important to mention the censorship on TikTok, because they have all the tools and abilities and capabilities to shut me the fuck down right now. If I said any of the shit I just said on TikTok. I'd have been got shut. I got shut down like 5 minutes ago. It has happened so fucking many times. So you mean to tell me that you got all these industries, you got all these companies, you got all these rich individuals, you got all these wealthy individuals, you got all these well-to-do, well-off individuals all across the country that have all the fucking means of production. They got all this influence. You got all these people with all this reach. And they can't figure out how to stop child rape, but they figured out how to shut me the fuck down right now. It goes to show you where the priorities lie of people in our communities, people in our country, people across the world. They care more about me. They care more about stopping me than stopping child rape. That's the reality. That's the reality. You mean to tell me that among 200 million people, they can't figure out how to at least significantly reduce child rape? You got all these settlements happening all across the country from all these Christian Catholic archdioceses and all this type of shit for not small little amounts. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars in each case, not just collectively. We're talking about in each case. We're literally talking about billions of dollars in settlements. Tens of billions, maybe even hundreds of billions, because I haven't even done all the compilation of all the different settlements that have occurred. I just know that in LA alone, in the LA Archdiocese alone, settled for $880 million. $880 million in LA alone. We're not talking about, collectively throughout the nation, throughout all the decades. No, just in LA. In LA, it was $880 million. And I do believe that's on top of another settlement they did because ultimately it rounded up to $1.5 billion in LA alone. That's not even counting surrounding cities like Compton and fucking the Bay, all these fucking places where they also had major settlements. You got other places, other cities and states, right? In New Mexico, in New Orleans, in New York, all those cities in New York. I mean, New York State alone has north of $1 billion worth of settlements. Not even in New York City, but just in surrounding cities like Albany, Buffalo, Syracuse, shit like that. And even though these stories get covered by major publications, they don't get the push that they should get. These aren't small little amounts. This isn't like, a couple $1,000s, a couple of priests or a couple of pastors here and there. This is institutional. If this were any organization, if this was the Crips, the Bloods, if this was the fucking Black Panthers, these motherfuckers would be getting hit with RICO cases. They'd be getting brought up on charges. They'd be getting hit with conspiracy cases on a constant fucking basis. Motherfuckers would be doing huge fucking sentences. There'd be all kinds of fucking plea deals and shit like that, immunity and all this type of shit because this person snitched on these motherfuckers. But that's not what happens. The Catholic Church, the Christian Church, they get so much protection. I made a post last week about how President Trump put out a memo, a White House memo, talking about the 100 victories for people of faith. That's what it's called. Okay, you can look it up. 100 victories for people of faith, the White House. You can look all throughout the list. Notice what is fucking clearly missing from that list. Any single mention of reducing child rape. So you can talk about how you created this religious institution and this office of the faith and all this fucking bullshit. You appointed officers and all this type of shit. But y'all still can't figure out how to stop child rapists from raping children in the church. Even though that's where it happens the most. More than anywhere else, literally. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Okay, I had another post where I showed, now, take it with a grain of salt, okay? But there's this website called notinourchurch.com that has all these statistics. And that one stat that shows that you are more likely to get raped in a church than anywhere else. As a matter of fact, church rapists are the most dangerous. They have more victims and younger victims. And they get so much protection. It's literally considered taboo to talk about these minor fuckers. It's taboo to mention the fact that these minor fuckers are fucking minors and constantly doing it at an institutional level. Okay? Like one of the things I would do on TikTok, which they would shut me down for, which goes to show you how full of shit they are, I would literally look up Christian sexual assault, like I'm about to do right now. And I would show people, I would show you all these new stories that happen nearly every day. Look, we got one from today. And see, this is what I would do. I would turn the camera around. Let me see if I can do it here. This is Yahoo News, right? This is what I would do. I would show you the platform. I would show you the author, the date, the time, all that shit. Grammy-winning pastor accused of sexual abuse and new assault. This is essentially what I would do. I would show y'all the article, right? I would show you the article. I would literally read you the article as I'm showing it to you. A popular pastor and musician has been accused of sexually assaulting a young man who went to him for help. A new lawsuit claims that Donnie McClurkin abused the man during Pray the Gay Away sessions. How ironic. He is alleged to have written an apology email, which he apparently called himself a dirty old man. And this is not just some regular, this is Donnie McClurkin. He's one of the most famous motherfuckers in the Christian church. Trust me, as a black person and former Christian in the South Side of Chicago, I can tell you right now, like, this is a very well-respected dude. This is a dude that has a very large fan base. And yet, here we are. Yeah. Rapist. Gay. Rapist. Right? Now, again, I don't have any personal issue with the LGBTQ community. I have a problem with people who commit acts of rape, people who violate other people's fucking autonomy and shit like that. Especially shit like this where you're supposed to be helping them. First of all, and I'll say this, like, it's okay to be gay. It's okay. You're not a terrible person for being gay. That's another reason why I'm against these religious ideologies, because they push this ridiculous narrative that it's a sin to be gay or that the Lord is so against homos. Yeah, they can't demonstrate that there is a Lord that's so against these homos that's just super duper anti-gay or any of that shit. And that's the point. These people that claim they have these wonderful morals, they are full of shit. That's why I demonstrate it to them on a constant basis. They're full of shit. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And if you give them an opportunity to demonstrate their claims to be true, they fail 100% of the time. Every single time. Now, mind you, billions of people in the world subscribe to these ideas and have subscribed to these ideas for thousands of years. You would think that with all the technology that we have, with all the social media and new telescopes and all these different discoveries in physics and astronomy and all this type of shit, cosmology, that at some point, some theists would have come up with some kind of method to demonstrate their claims, and yet they still fail. They don't even know where to start. They got every excuse, every fallacy, every apologetic in the world. They do all this shit. They appeal to emotions. They talk about their personal experiences. They talk about their personal failings and their personal successes, all thanks to something that they can't demonstrate at all. Because at the end of the day, they still have nothing to demonstrate. I don't care who these people are. I don't care if it's just some random dude on TikTok or if it's a super duper mega church pastor. 100% of them have 0% of evidence of any kind to demonstrate their fucking bullshit. That's what makes it a scam. And then on top of that, what exactly do these organizations actually accomplish? What do these religious people actually accomplish? If what they had to say was so true and was so real, then why can't they demonstrate how they are helping improve the world in any tangible, meaningful way? Okay, we got all these issues with child rape, the environment, fucking weather patterns, drug abuse, and psychological disorders. Poor education, access to care, all these different issues that we have. These people claim they got these super duper magic powers, and yet they can't use their magic powers to improve upon anything. They have their weekly meetups. They pay their weekly membership fees. They sing songs, they hold hands, they listen to some charlatan tell them some bullshit story that accomplishes not a goddamn thing, and yet no Father, no Son, no Holy Spirit to be found anywhere. And every time we ask these people, where is it? They give you bullshit answers that don't demonstrate what the hell they're talking about. So, you got this ideology that's being subscribed to by 2.3 billion people in the fucking world. 2.3 billion people. Or is it 2.4? I forget. I think it's 2.4 actually. So 2.4 billion Christians in the world. 0 Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Trinity, triumvirate, Triforce thing, whatever the fuck they talking about. Nothing to be found at all. They can't show you what it is, where it is. They don't have a clear-cut, concrete explanation of it. They have 0 method for detecting it, 0 method for communicating with it, and 0 purpose for all of this bullshit. And yet, I'm the crazy one. I'm the fucking pariah. I'm the worst person in the world because I have the nerve to talk about this shit. So, motherfucker rape a dude, totally fine. I talk about it and condemn it, horrible. And then you wonder how Epstein shit happens. Because these minor fuckers done gone unchallenged this whole time, and so many people excuse it. In fact, I'm willing to bet there are people on this app that will come down here and make some bullshit ass excuse for it. Because I've seen it happen. I've had people on my TikTok come to me and make excuses. They won't even try to even condemn the action. Not one time. Not one time has any of these people ever come into my life and be like, oh my God, that's so terrible. That's so horrible. We got to do something about it. We Christians need to call upon Jesus. We need to call upon the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit to stop this madness. Not one time. Not one single fucking time has that ever happened. I done had all kinds of Christians on my shit. I just showed all kinds of Christians these kinds of stories. This is what I do. I show people what's happening, what's been happening. This is just one story out of so many. This is just the first story that I'm showing y'all. Right? This is the story of today. Right? This isn't even counting all the other stories that's been happening. Right? It's another story right now. 10 hours ago, Yahoo, okay? Yahoo. Superior Telegram, Wisconsin. Trial starts for former Princeton, Minnesota pastor accused of child sexual assault. 10 hours ago, that's today. So you got 2 stories from today. Today, right? You're talking about Donnie McClurkin, a very high-profile fucking gospel singer, musician, all that shit. Pastor. Oh, my internet's unstable. Even though I got all bars, but whatever. High profile person. Very, very, very highly respected and touted. I mean, he's a Grammy Award winner. Grammy. He's a well, he's allegedly. Let me make that clear. He's allegedly a rapist. Now, here's my thing, right? It doesn't even matter to me whether he's personally guilty or not. Because the fact of the matter is, these stories come out nearly every single day. Anyway, if this wasn't such a problem, this wouldn't happen. Right? Now, there are people out here who do falsely accuse people of horrible things. And I do believe that these are terrible people who do this. Okay? So I don't want it to be like, like this happens in every single case. But at the same time, there's a reason why there are, you know, ideas like, oh, you should believe all women and this type of shit. Because the shit happens so fucking much. The shit is rampant. It happens a lot more than you would like to think. It happens so much that it's hard to believe in so many cases that could happen, right? When you have people like this, like, why, if you're somebody in that position, why would you even need to rape, right? Like, why wouldn't you just, like, fucking, find a chick or find a dude, whatever the fuck it is that you fuck with, find an adult. But that's the point. And that's another thing I would talk about. This topic of paraphilias, right? Which are basically just like abnormal sexual proclivities, right? And you will be surprised to learn the type of shit that people are into. There's so many, I mean, because I'm sure y'all have heard the main ones, things like pedophilia, you know what I'm saying, bestiality, like all these different ideas. There are so many things that you will be shocked that people are into. Right. And that's another thing I would do. I would show people the list of paraphilias. There's so much crazy shit on this list that you would be like, wait, people are into that? Yeah. People are into all kinds of crazy shit. So I find it very fucking strange that we are disallowed from talking about these types of topics, yet people engage in these behaviors on a constant basis. And so many people, individuals, even animals are getting hurt. Because all these different platforms want to prevent us from talking about shit. Their fucking advertisers might fucking have an issue with fucking certain types of content. It's so crazy to this point that even on YouTube, you can make a video about a murder that happened, but you can't say words in the video like child, baby, infants, fucking sex, sexual assault, abuse. It is retarded. How can we ever hope to solve any problem if we can't even fucking talk about it? So that's why I have a super huge problem with censorship. I understand the reason for censorship in general. There's certain things that you don't want to be allowed, right? Like you don't want CSAM material. I get it, of course. Of course. You don't want to have people who express horrible ideologies. But again, how can we determine what's a horrible ideology if we can't even talk about it? How can we stop the spread of CSAM if we can't even talk about it? You can't even say the word without having to worry about getting censored and shut down and suspended for 7 days and possibly getting banned. Like, I literally, on my very last live I did on TikTok like a week ago, I literally went on there to say, you know what, I'm not going to be on here. I'm going to be on fucking Substack because I can't deal with this fucking crazy shit. on fucking TikTok. I just so happened to let the R word slip a few times, and they shut me the fuck down with the quickness. I don't think I was even on live for more than like 10 minutes. And they shut me down immediately. They hit me with a restriction. They hit me with a warning. They fucking suspended me for 3 days, and they gave me another fucking strike on my account. This is the type of shit that happens because I said the R word. The retard word. The word that somehow has been deemed like such hate speech. When the sad reality is that we are all retarded. That's what the data shows. We all got microplastics crossing our blood-brain barrier. We all have been inundated with PFAS. All types of fucking forever chemicals that are in our bodies. We're born with it. We all got issues that are so vast, we don't even fully understand how deep they go. And it doesn't help. We have a president cut funding to the various fucking institutions, the laboratories that can be doing the research to understand how these things affect us. So, you damn right I got a problem with all this shit. Because I find it utterly ridiculous that people would have more of a problem with me using the R word, the retard word, right? Which was originally a scientific term. They got deemed offensive for some weird reason. And I think that it's highly ironic considering that it is a term that describes what it refers to, people who suffer from various psychological issues. Psychological issues aren't good things. There are times that they can be helpful, right? And I mention this person all the time, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, formerly Chris Jackson, the basketball player. He has severe OCD, right? Most people with OCD will tell you, yo, this shit is really debilitating. But it just so happened to help him because his OCD allowed him to become a very great shooter. Ironically, he sabotaged his own career by being a fucking Muslim. And I find that ridiculous. Like, and I have mixed feelings about it because I don't think you should be shut down for having ridiculous beliefs. Well, actually, no, I disagree. I think you should get shut down. But, I mean, you're a basketball player. Play the game. You ain't gotta do all this. It's like you doing this shit because you don't care about the Pledge of Allegiance, but you're still supporting a fucking institution that has caused great harm to the world. That is not true. It is also a huge scam. It's probably the second biggest scam behind Christianity. Actually, it is because they got like 2.3 billion Muslims in the world, as well as 2.4 billion Christians in the world. 0% of them can demonstrate either of their claims. Anyway, psychological disorders are not good. That's why they're called disorders. So, I believe our goal as a society should be trying to figure out how to overcome these disorders, how to treat these disorders better, how to possibly cure these disorders. Because one thing about me is I'm a transhumanist, I'm an extropist, which means that I am very, very, very big on trying to figure out how we can improve upon the human body, how we can become superhuman. And I'm not talking about like praying and hoping and wishing that maybe our problems go away. I'm talking about things like genetic modification, nanotechnology, all types of new treatment methods that can be developed with quantum computing. We should be doing the things to help improve the human condition, to help us overcome our problems. The only problem is you have these different institutions that benefit from us being sick. You have all these different individuals and organizations that benefit from us being fucked up and causing all this chaos. As an example, weapons manufacturers, gun manufacturers benefit from the chaos that we experience. They benefit from people being fucked up and retarded out here because ultimately, whenever there's a mass shooting or some kind of major shooting, guess what happens? People go out and buy guns. So it literally benefits gun manufacturers for people to be out here fucked up because every time a mass shooting happens, people are going to go and consume their products. which is great for business. So mass shootings are great for fucking weapons manufacturers. You got the healthcare industry. They benefit greatly, probably the most, from people being fucked up. Because see, if you were in great health, you wouldn't need medicine. You wouldn't need medical care. They couldn't upcharge you. They couldn't fucking hit you with all these ridiculous fees and put you in extreme amounts of debt and have health insurance companies refusing to cover your care. They need us to be sick, which might explain why a third of Americans have some form of medical debt. You're talking about 100 million people. You see what I'm saying? And obviously the churches benefit because they have such a hold on the people, on the economy. They make so fucking much money. That's how these Catholic archdioceses have billions of dollars to begin with. That's how they have all these hundreds of millions of dollars to settle with all the victims that they've been victimizing for decades. So, of course, they need people to remain largely ignorant. They need people to remain sick because that way they can continue extracting resources from the community and convincing idiots all across the world, all across the country, that if you just continue to support us, something, you'll go to the nice, wonderful, happy-go-lucky land. Once you die, you'll go to happy-go-lucky land and something. But right now, we're going to get paid. You're not. But hey, if you really believe, if you give us your money, the Lord is gonna give it back to you tenfold in some form or fashion or something. I don't know. And if anything bad happens to you, well, the Lord worked in mysterious ways. And that's the way it happens. Constantly. So I don't care. I don't care about none of this bullshit. Ultimately, people suffer from various disorders. Disorders are bad. We're not going to sit here and say, no, disorders are good. I get we don't want to demean people with disorders. We don't want to make them feel like they're terrible people, but some of them are terrible people. Some people suffer from antisocial personality disorder. That's about like the worst disorder that you could possibly have. That does not mean that every person with ASPD, doesn't mean that everybody with ASPD is out here murdering and raping and pillaging and all that type of shit. But 9 times out of 10, the person who is doing that is somebody who suffers from ASPD. So we're not going to sit here and act like these different disorders and, narcissists and bipolar and all. We're not going to sit here and act like these are good things. These are not conditions to be celebrated. It is not good to have schizophrenia, period. I don't give a fuck what you want to say. Schizophrenia is not a good thing. It's terrible. It's horrible. I feel bad for people who suffer from it because a lot of times they commit actions that they had no agency in committing, which is why it should be of our utmost importance to try to figure this shit out. Instead, we got a nation full of Christians that want to give their useless thoughts and prayers to allow this shit to continue to persist. And then they make it so that you can't use a term like retarded to refer to these people, which is what the term originally was made for. So the reason why I think it's important is because at what point do they determine that saying mental disorder is offensive or a psychological disorder is offensive or special or disturbed or whatever other term? At what point do those terms become offensive? Because they mean the exact same thing. They refer to the exact same thing. People with psychological issues, mental issues, whatever you want to call it. It's the same shit. It just so happens that somehow this word, the R word, became the word that somehow became offensive. I don't get it. That's why I always question, what is the point? What is the point of all this shit? We care too much about people's feelings instead of how they actually feel. You get what I did there? We care more about their feelings than how they actually feel. That's why we stay stuck in these suboptimal conditions. That's why it becomes so difficult for us to accomplish anything. Because we as people are so fractured and are unwilling to come together to solve this shit. You would rather have an issue with me. Like, I literally had somebody on here block me because I said the R word. For the word. Not because of all the other shit I was saying about how we're hyper-capitalist, plutocratic, oligarchical, kistocratic, kleptocratic, gerontocratic, theocratic, idiocratic, techno-feudalist corporatocracy. No. They had a problem with the single word that I said. A word that's an accurate term that describes exactly what I was talking about. People being fucking retarded, mentally disabled, mentally disturbed, mentally suboptimal, cognitively impaired, whatever fucking term you want to use. It's all the same shit. That's why it's ironic because, like, if you have a psychological disorder, then of course you will determine a term like that to be offensive because your brain doesn't work properly. That's the point. It's ironic as hell. A word that refers to somebody as psychologically impaired offends somebody who's psychologically impaired because they're psychologically impaired. And guess what? We're all impaired in some form or fashion. I'm sure that we all got real fucking assessments. We find that we all got all kinds of issues. Like I said, we all got microplastics crossing our blood-brain barrier. We all got PFAS in our system. We're born with it. All of us. And have been for quite some time, for decades. This is not new. What's new is the discovery of this shit because the manufacturers of these chemicals and these microplastics have been producing this shit for decades and they've been hiding it from the public. They've been knowing this shit this whole time. That's why I find it funny that people got more smoke from me for talking about it and using a certain word they didn't like than the motherfuckers that are producing the toxins that are killing us and fucking our brains up. So this is what I do. If you don't like it, that's fine. Go somewhere the fuck else. I don't care. This is what I'm about. I'm a solutions-oriented person. I don't like getting caught up in semantics and tact. Oh, you don't want me to use a certain word. You don't like it that I use a certain phrase or whatever. If you can provide me a logical reason why I shouldn't use it, I will consider it. But if you're just gonna hit me with the I don't like it, well, then I don't give a fuck. There's a lot of shit I don't like. I've had to tolerate that bullshit this whole time. All right? So, I'm still trying to figure out this app. I ain't had a single person on this live, which is okay, because I'm new here. It's only my second live. I gotta build up my clout. And I'm gonna do exactly what I did on TikTok. Throw shit at the fucking wall and hope that it sticks at some point. Ultimately, I'm on here for the purpose of understanding reality. Understanding what all of this is. What is it? Where are we? How did we get here? Why are we here? Are we the only ones here? Are there others out there, out in space? Like, what is our history? All this shit. And ultimately, in order to figure this shit out, we have to get real with reality. We got to put our feelings to the side. We have to focus on the truth. We have to focus on solutions. We're not going to accomplish any fucking thing getting hung up on stupid ass bullshit, getting hung up on semantics, getting hung up on fucking personal feelings, and getting hung up on people's willful ignorance and intolerance and all this type of shit. I am intolerant of bullshit. I only care about truth. I don't care about tact. I don't care about offending anybody. Because I'm offended. Nobody cares about me being and I find that so ironic. People care so much about how offensive I am. They never give a fuck about the fact that they offend me on a regular basis, and it's like totally fine because fuck me, right? Because I'm not a person. I'm just some fucking loser on the south side of Chicago. Some nigger. 3/5 of a person. Who cares about what the fuck I think about? Who cares about my well-being? Who cares about how I feel? I'm supposed to give a fuck about how you feel, but you don't get to give a fuck about how I feel? What kind of crazy shit is that? That's how you know people out here are fake as fuck. So anyway, I'm going to just end it there because I ain't trying to do this too long, even though I could do this all day. But I'm still trying to determine a schedule or a style or whatever. Um, but yeah, I just felt like doing that just to get some to allow some steam because I'm fucking pissed off, man. I hate TikTok. I hate the censorship. I hate knowing, right? Like check out my last post I just made. I'm showing you that I did all these wonderful numbers despite the censorship that I dealt with. And that's on my backup account. That's not even my main account, right? Like, and that's another thing. All that shit is on my backup account. I literally could be the most popular influencer on TikTok. I've done the numbers that show. Basically, I'm better than everybody. Right? On my last post where I'm showing my rap for 2025, they say on there that I was better than 95% of people. And that's with extreme censorship. I only did one live for the entire month of December, and I got shut down after 10 minutes. And I still did these numbers. So imagine what I could have done without any censorship. If I was allowed to do what I was able to do, we could have been changed the world. And it goes to show you why it's so hard to change the world, because the powers that be don't want that. Okay, they will let you do all types of shit as long as it doesn't threaten the power structures. The moment that you threaten the power structures, they're going all out to stop you. And considering the fact that I'm not a celebrity or something like that, nobody gives a fuck. Because who the fuck am I? If it was somebody notable, if it was somebody who has a big following, well, they probably wouldn't have the big following in the first place. Why do you think it's so hard? So anyway, that's all I gotta say about that. I'm off here. Holla at your boy. I'll be back at some time. Peace out.